Jamil.
Right now.
Free Imam Jamil.
Right now.
Free Imam Jamil.
Right now.
Free Imam Jamil.
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 Right now.
Free Imam Jamil.
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 Now.
Free Imam Jamil. Free Imam Jamil. Free Imam Jamil. Free Imam Jamil.
Those of us who know how the system works, those of us who know about the sometimes vicious underbelly of the American injustice system, we feel the whole thing was a setup. Imam Jamil Al-Amin is neither a coward nor a liar. If he had pulled the trigger, he would have said so.
That's right.
Okay? Because he's not a liar or a coward, we have 3 or 4 items I'd like to bring up right now for public discussion, even though our speakers are going to hit on some of these things. How in the world can you have a trial when all the 3 or 4 points that you have to prove your innocence are not allowed into the courtroom? I mean, this smacks of a setup. If you have a full set of teeth and you've been around for a while, you know that this was nothing but a setup. For instance, the tragedy of the slain officer is one thing. How about the surviving officer who said, and I quote, "I shot the assailant and I hit him twice." Okay? And then when they found Imam Jamil 3 days later, there wasn't a scratch on his body. How can you have a trial when you don't allow such a piece of evidence? How can you talk about the blood evidence that was on the ground that went to a house in the West End, and the blood evidence was picked up, and the blood evidence was analyzed, and it wasn't Jamil's blood? This is my friend Imam Jamil Al-Amin, okay? How the heck are you going to allow, how you can disallow something like that? This is unbelievable. How about the surviving officer said the man I shot was 5'9" or 5'10", and Imam Jamil Al-Amin is a power forward, 6'4", maybe 6'5". I'm sick of this. It's been 12 years ago. If this is not a setup, I don't know what is. The surviving officer who was wounded, he noticed that the assailant had brown eyes or gray eyes. Hey man, Imam Jamil wears sunglasses. How are you going to tell me what color? He got brown eyes. Okay, so the officer said he's got gray eyes. He's 5'9". Imam Jamil got brown eyes, and he's 6'4". I'm sick of all this, and the judge wouldn't even allow it. And then the biggest, the thing we're here today, we're not going to discuss these points in public now. We're waiting for the retrial. What we want to accomplish in today's meeting is to keep this case in front of the public eye, to bring him back to Georgia where it belongs. This is the other travesty.
Bring him back.
This is the other travesty of this case. If you committed a state crime, which we don't believe he did, but even if you say he committed a state crime, why the heck is he in a federal prison? He should be in a state prison. He should be back in Georgia. This is a no-brainer, and we have to accomplish this by keeping it in front of the public eye.
That's right.
So these are some of the cases we're talking about.
Brothers and sisters, I know that you are all holding fast for the transfer of Brother Jamil Al-Amin. For quite some time, I have been supporting the efforts to bring Jamil back to the state of Georgia, where he belongs, and to be closer to his family. He should never have been transferred to a federal prison, and the state of Georgia should not be paying the federal government to hold any prisoner when there is enough room in state-run and state-funded facilities. Do not give up. Do not give out. Speak up for the just return of Amin Jamil Al-Amin.
If any of you are in John Lewis's district, it's very important that we stay on this. Politicians like John Lewis can get things done, but as you know, they have to be pushed and they have to be forced. There's a system there to make it happen, and he's the guy that can make it happen. But if you really want to make it happen, like they say, you gotta make me do it. So let's push him on this. Those of you who are in his district, it's very important. He's got a lot of influence in that area. He's one of the civil rights icons that can really make a big difference in this case. And we thank Mr. Aaron Ward for coming over here and making that statement in solidarity with the committee to free Imam Jamil Al-Amin. Imam Furqan Muhammad is the Imam of the mosque called Mu'minun, which means the believers, right down here on Henry Aaron Drive behind the stadium. He's not only a local Islamic leader, he's a very highly regarded Muslim chaplain. This man goes to prisons literally in every county in the state of Georgia to administer the people's religious needs regardless of their faith or religion or lack thereof. And so Imam Furqan Muhammad is one of the people's heroes here in Atlanta, Georgia. And again, the reason why we're asking him to come up now is because any of you who know him, you know he doesn't need a microphone. All right, Imam Furqan, hey.
In by and with Allah name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. I ask Allah to guide my tongue, my heart, my words, my mind, and bless me to say those things that are needed and to hold back those things that we shouldn't say. I witness that there is no God but Allah and that Muhammad is his messenger. As Muslim, we would like Imam Jamil Al-Amin to be brought back to Georgia, to the Georgia Department of Correction, because we want him to receive a new trial, which is a fair trial, where all evidence will be included in that trial. Presently, he's in a federal prison in Florence, Colorado, called Supermax. It's under the ground, approximately 1,400 miles from Atlanta. And he's not allowed to mix with anyone. 24-hour isolated from human being, no human contact. Now bear in mind, there was no federal charges, there was no federal conviction, and there was no federal sentencing. So again, we would like for Imam Jamil to be brought back to Georgia, which is to testify he should have never been taken to the federal prison in Florence, Colorado. Thank you.
Salaam alaikum, brothers and sisters. Very glad to be here. I am here as a witness. I am here as someone who first met our brother when he was a teenager, younger than many of you. I'm a witness to the fact that when he was a teenager, he knew already that teenagers are not supposed to be just going around malls and buying things and more things and more things, but that teenagers were meant to develop themselves and become leaders in the building of a more just and fair society. I am a witness to the fact that he knew that when he was a teenager, and that's why he spent the rest of his life working on the creation of something better, something more just for all of us in this country and in this world. I'm a witness also to the fact that women and men don't have to agree with each other on everything in order to work for a common goal.
All right.
There were many things that Brother Jamil and I did not agree on, but we agreed that we had to work for the change that this country needs. And we worked. Sometimes we argued. Most of the time we laughed together. But we were together, never letting anything separate us from the urgent sense that we had work to do, and we could not step back from that work. I am a witness to the fact that when you are committed to do work that goes against your country's understandings of what it means to be just and right and fair, you can get into a lot of trouble. And I know that Brother Jamil, or Brother Rap as we knew him in those days, understood that there was danger, understood that he had to take a chance in order to do what was right. And I'm a witness to the fact that he was willing to take a chance, indeed to offer his own life at times in order to change what needed to be changed in this society. I'm also a witness to the fact that Brother Jamil, after a long, long time of our not seeing each other, finally moved out to where I live. I live in Denver, Colorado, 100 miles from Florence, and I know that Supermax. I have been in that Supermax many times, visiting brothers of all kinds who are there for all kinds of reasons. So I was very sure that when my sister asked me if I would go and visit Brother Jamil, Imam Jamil, since I was in Denver and he was in Florence, and I knew that Supermax, that there'd be no problem in my getting permission to go and visit him, and I applied for permission to go and visit him.
Allah bless you for that.
And the answer was no. Even though you've been here many times, even though you have visited many prisoners, you cannot visit this prisoner. I want you to know that I am a witness to the fact that this kind of injustice will happen as long as we do not do our work to change the situation. And I want you to know that the change in the situation does not come about in a day. And it doesn't come about just from shouting. I am a witness as a teacher to the fact that some of us and our children are going to have to put in some hard work, studying difficult things, learning how the justice and injustice system of this country works. And some of you who are carrying signs now, I am a witness to the fact that that's wonderful. And I'm very proud of you that you're carrying those signs. But I want you to carry books too. I want you to be learning, studying everything you can possibly learn and study about what makes the world change. And one of the things that makes the world change, if you've looked around, is that young people say, I want to take my responsibility in changing the world. So I'm a witness to remind you that my brother Jamil was a young person when he began. I'm a witness calling upon you young people also to know that this is a good time for you to begin. figuring out what does it mean to change this society so that no one has to be treated in the way that our brother was treated. And I'm absolutely certain that he would be saying to you, that he would be saying to us, thank you for coming out. Thank you for shouting. Thank you for singing. Thank you for carrying signs. But remember, the work that we've got to do is a lifetime work.
That's right.
And we better get ready in ourselves, with each other, with whoever else wants to work for change. And know that there is no automatic change for us in this country. We must organize, 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 starting inside of ourselves. So I'm a witness to the fact that you are wonderful folks, and you belong right where you are. And I am looking forward to the time when we will be able to greet our brother coming from wherever he will be coming from, but knowing that we had something to do with his coming. And then when he comes, we will not sit around and say, okay, Brother Jamil, lead us, lead us. No, we will say, Brother Jamil, we are ready. We are ready for you to help us to know how we must go on the next step ahead. So I want to be a witness to the fact that there's a lot of work to do. I've been doing it for 50 years. Are you ready for 50? Are you ready? Okay, thank you.